Those are pictures of Mayawati's carcade, I'm told, as she proceeds to the venue. Bhupen Chaube, this is one of the most dramatic events that we've seen, and Mayawati, of course, leaving no stone unturned to make headlines, to make a splash here. The numbers are staggering.
Well, the numbers with the UP Chief Minister have always been staggering, Palki, as we continue to see these live pictures of Mayawati's cavalcade being driven straight up inside the monument. This is, in a sense, a replica of what she had done with the Ambedkar Smarak in Lucknow. Even her style of inauguration remains the same. She's not someone who will ever make a long political speech of sorts. She'll perhaps address her workers, exchange a few smiles, pose for the cameras, just go ahead, inaugurate the ribbon, cut the ribbon, and formally announce the beginning, the inauguration of this monument. As I was telling you earlier, this has been a particularly important project for the UP Chief Minister. In the past, in off-record conversations, whenever we have put this question to her as to what was her fascination for building what were essentially green patches, territories which small kids from the area used to come and play in, what was the need for creating a monument like this? And her point has always been that her core voter always feels empowered by her sense of empowerment, by her definition of empowerment. So as she steps out of these SUVs which were imported all the way from Israel, simply because she thought that this was the safest mode of transportation to be traveling in, and she steps out with her sandals, and perhaps she would be wearing a pink suit today also, which is her favorite color. I can't see from this distance, Palki, maybe you can, but she usually is dressed up in a pink salwar suit. And as she moves up those stairs, goes right up towards the monument, a huge cheer greets her from all her supporters. And this is what the UP Chief Minister is all about. This is the phenomenon of Mayawati. This is what she has always reveled in, creating a spectacle, trying to prove a point to her detractors. They're bang on the outskirts of the capital, in the national capital region. You're just a couple of kilometers away from the physical territory of Delhi. She can put together a show like this despite all the odds which are mounted against her. Come to look at it, there was a case which was filed against the construction of this monument in the Supreme Court. There were environmental concerns which were raised, but Mayawati finally has managed to prevail. She has managed to ensure that all the criticism which was mounted against her, well, that criticism still exists, because wasteful expenditure is something which is bound to haunt her for some time. But it seems that the UP Chief Minister really is not getting too perturbed, too concerned by all this criticism which she feels is simply unnecessary.
Absolutely. And of course, Shreya Dhondiyal continues to join us from the venue there. Shreya, we're looking at pictures of Mayawati arriving there to inaugurate the monument. It looks grand from these pictures that we are seeing. Take us through what's happening there at the site.
And as visibly as you see it, the UP government, the Noida authorities, in fact, have laid out the red carpet. There you see it. She's actually trying to walk inside the Rashtriya-Dalit-Prerna-Sthal. That's why 11 of those statues are placed, one of her own. She also has some murals of political life so far. There's one of her parents which has generated a lot of interest, because Mayawati is someone who's known to keep her family fairly far away from politics. In fact, some talk of her being estranged from her father as well. But here what we are seeing, possibly for the first time, and Bhupen would be able to corroborate that, murals of her family, of her when she's taking oath as Chief Minister, after that touching her parents' feet. So in a sense, I've been speaking to a lot of cadres here. I wonder whether you can see pictures of them. No, you can't. The live output we are seeing is of Chief Minister Mayawati not wearing her favorite pink suit, but a cream one today, walking into the Smarak to inspect everything. Authorities here in Noida have really been in a tizzy for the past 1 week. Everything has been dented and painted. For those of you of us who actually live in Noida, it was quite a surprise to see the city looking so neat and clean and green. The roads have been carpeted, all the dividers have been painted. It's looking surprisingly green. Of course, this park, we are calling it a park. It's actually a memorial. The park doesn't have flowers or trees. 6,000. Oh, there you have it. I'm assuming you're seeing pictures of her inaugurating what is now called the Rashtriya-Dalit-Prerna-Sthal. It's cost the UP Exchequer some 683 crore rupees. Now you're seeing there Satish Mishra. And let me just see if I can see more pictures. That's Mayawati lighting a candle and officially inaugurating the grand structure we are seeing. It's taken 3 years, many a roadblocks, many a legal battles, and 683 crore rupees to finally get to this point. She's making a statement. She's telling her many cadres who are here that, look, I'm here, I'm in Noida, ab Delhi dur nahi, support me in these elections, and possibly in 2014 I'll be the Prime Minister of this country. I think that's the message she's sending out today. Bhupen probably will be able to tell us a bit more about the political angle.
Yes, you have a point, Shreya, but while we're talking about the money and while we continue to look at these live pictures from a monitor, which by the way is a new feature which has been added to Mayawati's paraphernalia, where every big function that she goes to now, it now has a separate production unit also. This is something which you could perhaps associate, say, with the Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi, who has mastered the art of sending messages to the media, who's mastered the art of managing the media in a sense. The UP Chief Minister and her team of advisors also seem to have taken a leaf out of Narendra Modi's book, because this is a new feature. I have seen this only at some important functions of BSP, but at a public rally of sorts. This is perhaps the first time that I'm seeing a separate production unit also which has been put up. Who knows, maybe there will be a documentary of sorts which will be screened by the BSP supporters about Kanshi himself, about the life and struggles of Kanshi, because that's the other point that Mayawati always likes to talk about how happy Kanshi would be when he would be seeing something like this. But what about the other side of this coin? What about the other side of this debate?
Right.
While the BSP workers would be happy, would be feeling perhaps satisfied with the achievements of their leader, well, there are many who would be wondering that in a state which has lost 500 lives due to encephalitis, and in a state where the Chief Minister continues to write letters to the centre saying that she wants more money for managing security, for spending on basic infrastructure, what is the purpose? What is the need of creating a monument like this?
Right.
That's a question which I think Mayawati will find difficult to answer.
Yes, this flamboyance is something we've seen in the past, Bhupen. Very interesting that Mayawati is seen on national television showering flowers on her own statue. It doesn't get more interesting than this, but what's also very interesting is that it's one of those rare occasions when we see her family as well on camera. We can see a lot of those people there.
No, usually what she does is that wherever she goes, again on important public functions, and it's important to highlight here that the inauguration of this project, Balki, is an extremely important matter for the UP Chief Minister. There was a time when approximately 2 lakh rupees were being spent a day simply because the Supreme Court had put a stay on the construction activities which were being carried out in this park. And when we were in touch with Mayawati's team of advisors, and when we were asking them that is the Chief Minister worried that what if the Supreme Court strikes down the entire construction of this park, they were saying that if that were to happen, then the UP Chief Minister will be personally very demoralized. There were several compromises which he has had to make. The monument that you're seeing in front of you is not the initial design that they had planned. Initially, the green area that you're seeing, Palki, around this monument, on either side of this monument, was also supposed to be full of similar elephants. So they had to cut down on the number of elements. Initially, there were supposed to be some 50 elephants which were to have been put up in these green areas. There were supposed to be 2 more fountains. They have had to cut down on the number of elephants, which is a symbol of the BSP. The number of fountains, which is a personal favorite of sorts for the UP Chief Minister, simply to adhere to the environmental guidelines which were set up by the Special Monitoring Committee, which was created by the Supreme Court. Now, with the UP Chief Minister surrounded by her family members, also admiring the photographs of her own parents, you're asking me for a surprise element? I think that's a surprise element. We've seen Mayawati's father, Mayawati's brother, her cousins, and many of her close relatives accompanying her to several public functions, but I've never seen Mayawati garlanding a photograph of her own father and mother in a monument like this. For instance, in the Ambedkar Smarak in Lucknow, there are the monuments, there are the idols of different Dalit icons, from Chhatrapati Shahuji Maharaj to Dr Ambedkar to Kanshi. But here, we're seeing not just Mayawati, but also her family members' murals being created, and perhaps Mayawati believes that if her Kada can be inspired by her own sheer presence, well, maybe the Kada can be inspired by the presence of her family members also.